supremacy to stay in place. Black boys must prefer football to mathematics. In order for white supremacy to stay in place, the black girl must prefer twerking to arithmetic. This is how it's designed. See, the purpose of public school is to do what? Teach the children of the oppressed their place in society. The purpose of education is to teach the children of the oppressed their place in society. And the reason why black boys are taught by white women, because it is her job to break his spirit, to snatch his masculinity, to effeminize his masculine disposition. Public school is no accident. This is intentional. And I need you parents to understand that you have certain rights that you should never vacate. You have the right to say no, first of all. Can we evaluate Raheem? He has a reading problem. He's in the 6th grade, but he's only reading on the 3rd grade level. We think he may have a reading disability. You have a right to say no. Can we evaluate your son? Hell no. Why? Let me tell you why you cannot evaluate my son. Yes, I'm aware he's struggling. I'm also aware that he's a 6th grader operating on the 3rd grade level. But let me make you aware as to why he's 3 grades behind. Last year when my son was in 5th grade, he was suspended 5 days every month. He lost about 2 months of instruction. So that's why he didn't catch up last year, because you never left him in the classroom long enough to learn. When my son was in the 4th grade, he had a first-year teacher, straight out of the University of Florida, a little white girl from the boondocks could barely read her damn self. Nobody learned anything. The year before that, my son was in the 3rd grade. He had a pretty good teacher, but she got pregnant, went out on maternity leave in January, and my son was faced with 15 substitutes from January to June. So don't ask me why you cannot put him in special education. My son's problem is you. And you parents have to be very firm in protecting your children, because the first thing a school does, and you're talking to a school principal, the first thing a school does is do an evaluation of black parents to determine which ones you can get over on and which ones you cannot. And if you are an easy black parent, your children will suffer. In fact, every school has what I call a blacklist. It's a short list of black parents you cannot F with, because they will come to that school 50 deep, raise hand, and call in. And if you are not on that blacklist, mother, father, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, big brother, big sister, cousin, foster parent, or adoptive parent, if you are not on that list, you are not on your job. And why do you say that, Dr. Johnson? I say that because having a lazy black parent is like having no damn parent at all. Oh yes, we can talk about white supremacy, but what about trifling black people? We can talk about racism all day, but what about you not being on your job? Do you check homework every night? Do you do drive-bys after school? What is a drive-by? That's when you pop the hell up to make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do. When's the last time you did a drive-by? If I went in your house right now, Tampa, if I went in your house right now, St. Petersburg, if I drove on over to Orlando and walked in your home, would I see a bookshelf? Would I see a dictionary? Is there a thesaurus? What about a set of encyclopedia? I know you got the HD TV, you got the Xbox, you got the iPad, you got the laptop, you got the cell phone, but do you have any damn books in your house? In fact, is there even a table and chairs anywhere in that damn home for that child to sit down for 10 minutes and get their work done without any interruptions from the radio, television, or your telephone conversations? Oh yes. I can walk into your house and tell you whether or not you're part of the school to prison pipeline right now. And Christmas gifts, one of the reasons I can't stand Christmas time ain't got nothing to do with Christ. Not the black one, but maybe the white one. But one of the reasons why I have such an issue with Christmas is most of you buy gifts for your children that distract them from focusing on the academics. Remember, when we were growing up, and I'm 40 years old, when we were growing up, there was no iPad. There was no Xbox. Video games just started. I had the little Miss Pac-Man, you know, the one that weighed 30 pounds and you had to carry it. So when we wanted to have fun, if we wasn't allowed to watch TV, and back then we didn't have our own TV in our own room, we would take our books. We had fun with our books. Me and my homies, we would read it to each other. We loved literacy. We would go to the library and stay there till they put us out at Temple University in North Philadelphia. We had no choice but to learn if we wanted to entertain ourselves. Literature was the way. But look at us today. Literature is not the way. How many hours does your son spend on video games? 5 hours a day? That could have been 5 hours on reading. How many hours does your daughter spend surfing on the internet and tweeting and texting and Facebooking and Instagramming and Snapchat? 3 hours a day? But what if that was spent on math? Some of you are letting your children invest too much time in things that will see to it that they spend the rest of their life in poverty or prison. You have to step up your game. And what is the number one responsibility of a black parent? The number one responsibility of a black parent in Florida is to teach your child discipline. And what is discipline? It's the ability to do what your child don't feel like doing when it got to be done, whether they like it or not. And if your child doesn't have that, I can predict with a 95% certainty where he or she will be in 25 years. Do they have the ability to turn off the TV and get the work done? Do they have the ability to stop watching LeBron James and clean up that home? Can your child self-regulate behavior and delay gratification? Because guess what, parents? If you haven't taught your child that you have to learn how to do what you don't want to do in order to be in a position to do the things you like to do, then you raising a felon-ass child. That's the reality of the situation. And my single mothers, I love you to death. And I apologize for the fact that due to the consequences of the war against black men, you have been left at home most of the time by yourself to raise all those children. And I commend you for the job that you've done, because had it not been for you holding that family together, who the hell knows what situation we would be in now. So brothers, give a hand for all the single mothers and black women and children. There's some of you who need to do a little bit better. Some of you women are raising your sons to be the exact type of man you yourself would never want to be bothered with. Oh yes, you say you want a responsible man, but your son is irresponsible as hell. You say you want a man who could go out and make a way if there is no way, but your son is soft as pudding with no fight in his blood whatsoever. You say you want a man who can respect black women, but yet you don't even make your son respect his own mother or sisters. How dare you say you can't find a good man when you're not making a good man? Fathers, you need to get your act together and realize that your daughters need quality time, not money and birthday gifts. And you need to understand that teenage pregnancy has nothing to do with her mother, and teenage pregnancy has nothing to do with sex. Teenage pregnancy is about a thirsty little girl still wanting the attention of her father, not getting it, and because he's not available, she goes out in the local community and finds a surrogate. Any boy will do. So the next time your daughter gets pregnant, don't go looking for the man who impregnated your daughter. Look at yourself, because you're the reason her thirsty ass went out there hunting in the first place.